pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Open the meeting to the public. Nobody signed up to speak, so we'll keep going on. Minutes from the September 3rd meeting. Everybody's got a copy of those. Are there any additions or deletions or corrections that need to be made? If not, I'll accept the motion to.
I make a motion minutes be accepted as printed.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passed. Bills, do we have any additions or deletions?
We have one addition this evening. It's the business card. It's the credit card. $798.58. The total is $858.52. Out of that, $798.58 is for wastewater treatment plant schooling, and then $59.94 is office supplies.
Okay. If there's no other additions or deletions or questions, I'll accept the motion to pay the bills.
I make a motion to pay the bills as amended. I'll second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carried. All right, correspondence. Mr. Close.
So I have a couple things for correspondence. I received a letter from the American Cancer Society, and it's Men Wear Pink. The American Cancer Society, again this year, promoting their Men Wear Pink campaign for breast cancer awareness during the month of October. Among several local men in the area, Robert St. John and Jackson Rodriguez have committed to wearing pink to raise awareness of the disease and to each try to raise $2,500 for various fundraising events. We are requesting permission from the Village of Rouses Point to conduct a street drive on Saturday, October 5th in front of the rec center from 9 a.m. through 3 p.m. Our street drive had to be canceled last year due to torrential downpours. We have done very well at this location in previous years. It should never cease to amaze any of us what a wonderful, giving community in which we live. And it says, thank you for your support, and this is from Janice St. John. So the board would need to make a motion to approve them to do this.
I'll make a motion.
For that again?
What's that?
The date is going to be October 5th, and it's going to be between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on Lake Street in front of the Civic Center.
I'll make a motion that we allow the Cancer Society to run their fundraiser.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Nothing else?
Yes. So there has been some discussion as far as the Village of Rouses Point EMS to start billing for the weekend services. I have reached out to the billing company that Champlain EMS is currently using. And I spoke to a gentleman, his name is Bill Shipman, and he indicated to me that we could enter into a contract with multi-time billing for their services. It's a service that they can start billing for immediately. These would be for non-Medicare or Medicaid individuals. We would have to go through an application process, and then we could start billing for Medicaid. And once we get approved with Medicaid, we could apply for Medicare. So they told me the time frame is probably 120 to 180 days to get the approval for Medicare. The fees that they would collect would be 10% of the monies billed. So they were supposed to send me a contract for review prior to this meeting. I have not received it, but I wanted to bring it forth that if the board wants to do this, we can start billing immediately for non-Medicare or Medicaid individuals.
Does the board have a feeling, should we wait till we get a contract to look at and see what?
I think we should go ahead and start billing because it'll offset the cost of what it cost us to pay Champlain to provide EMS service here in Rouses Point. And we been 2 years
Right.
now that we haven't been collecting money.
Okay.
And, you know, it's the insurance companies that are gonna pay. It's
Right.
not the individuals. So
Right.
it's not like we're going after somebody. I
Right.
mean, everybody is charging except us.
Right.
I mean, you know, we have to start somewhere. And if it takes 120 days to have Medicare and Medicaid on board, we need to start somewhere. Because the cost just keeps going up every year.
Medicaid will probably be, he feels it could happen in 30 to 60 days. It's Medicare that takes longer.
Medicaid would be in 30 to 60 days. Now, if we decide to prolong this, is it 120 days after we start doing this billing, or is it?
What we could do is we could start the application process, and then we could bill once everything's been approved. Or, like I mentioned, if you want to start billing now, you can start billing for non-Medicaid and Medicare transports.
So it'd be insurance companies,
Insurance
instead of just
companies.
not Medicare and Medicaid.
Right.
I guess,
I think we should start.
but I guess what my question was is, so in 30 to 60 days, we could start billing Medicare. Is that after?
Medicaid.
Medicaid, after we start this process, or can we, if we wait, is it all gonna go into effect 30 to 60 days? Or is it prolonged?
So, I guess I'm not following your question.
I think what, I understand what he's trying to say. I think we can start billing insurance companies right now, and it's gonna take 30 to 60 days to get Medicare on board,
Approval.
so we can, right.
I
And
mean,
then it's
I-
gonna be 120 days to 180 for Medicare. So if you wait for the 180 days, we can, that will be our decision. Either we can start doing now, we can start billing now, the regular people, but not Medicaid and Medicare,
Right,
until we're approved.
right.
Once we're approved,
I just don't
And-
wanna prolong this,
Right,
this
right.
process any longer than
Right.
what we, you know, we've been working
So
on this.
we can
Right.
start that application now to do everything, and then you can ask them, we don't want to bill until Medicaid and Medicare are approved.
Okay.
So if you want to put that on the table, you can. Or, like I said, we can start billing for non-Medicare and Medicaid transports immediately.
And this is no money out of our pocket. They
No
take
money
a
out of-
percentage of what they receive.
What they collect, correct. And that's,
Then anything that we collect is profit for us that goes toward our EMS contract.
I mean, that would be a board's decision as far as where they want to, would like the proceeds to go.
yeah, I think that'd be a good place to put it.
Offset the cost.
Yes. So any more discussion? Do we need to have a motion?
I just want to ask, so this is this something that we have a written agreement in, or we need to enter it?
We will enter into a written agreement. I was supposed to have it for this evening's meeting, but I did not receive it. We've been having problems with our emails. So it could be there, I don't know, but I didn't want to delay any longer. Because if the board approves it and the agreement is sitting in my email, the mayor can sign it, we can submit it. Because I've got a lot of paperwork to complete for Medicaid, but they said it's twice as difficult to do the Medicare applications.
Okay, the only issue I have is just, as a rule, I like to have the written agreement in front of me to review.
We can wait until the next meeting.
Okay, I wanted to bring it up now because it's gonna be another 3 weeks before our next meeting, so.
Yeah, and if you get the thing, we can,
Yeah, we can review it.
and you can start on the other paperwork for Medicare and Medicaid.
Okay.
I agree with the idea in principle, it's just as a rule, I like to have something in writing.
So you wanna just table it for right now?
Yeah, table the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
The next thing that I have is our line supervisor, Mr. Decker's here. And Mr. Decker, could you explain to the board about the surplus wire that we have up at the substation?
So we have 750 copper primary surplus or junk wire. I reached out to 3 vendors on Friday. Earth Waste, Arno's, and Helms. Prices were $2.52 a pound. They pick it up from Earth Waste, $2.50 a pound. They'll pick it up from Arno's or $2 a pound from Helms. That's us doing nothing but loading a can. And the price is right now $3 a pound. So we're losing 48 cents, but is it worth 48 cents in manpower to strip the wire?
No.
Right.
So we have to do this by Wednesday because the price with copper's up and down.
Well,
Are you gonna know how many feet of copper that is going out, so we can get roughly, the weight amount?
So, yeah, we can, so the pieces that are over there underground are like 30 feet, 40 feet
So
long.
if you measure a foot of it and weigh it? and
Yep.
Times it by 30, and at least get a rough estimate on how many pounds we got? I mean, I don't wanna have them come and get a container full of wire and say, oh, you had 1,000 pounds. So,
Yeah, I would say there's probably a couple of ton there.
well, I make a motion that we, have
So, yeah, we can cut a foot piece of it and weigh it. And
Just get a rough estimate
ballpark
of
it.
what's there for ballpark weight.
Oh, yeah,
Surplus it?
yep. I make a motion that we surplus it.
I'll second that.
We have a motion, and second. All those in favor? Vote by aye.
Just one
Oh,
second,
hold on.
Deputy Mayor. So it's really not surplus, this is just scrap.
It's scrap.
Scrap.
There's no viable use for it.
So it's junk.
It's,
Yeah.
it's scrap is what it is.
Okay.
So we just
Make
need
that
to.
motion, scrap wire.
Right.
Sell the scrap wire.
Yes.
You wanna mention who it goes to?
Yeah, you're gonna have to say who you're awarding it to, in your motion as
I
well.
would say Arnold's is probably the closest.
No, it's,
Earth Waste is
Earth
2
Waste.
cents a pound more than Arno's.
Okay.
And they'll come get it,
Yeah.
And they'll set a can for us to load.
or we have to look?
We have to load the can. That was the agreement with all 3 of them.
Put the container up at the substation and we load it up.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried.
and the last thing that I have is I'd like to turn the floor over to Fire Chief, Mike LeBlanc.
No, not yet.
Oh, Benny's gonna do that?
Yep.
Okay, I didn't know. Okay, so that's all I have.
Okay, for the mayor, reports of the mayor and trustees. First one I have, I believe everybody's got a copy, is the Champlain EMS and Village of Rouses Point agreement. Just wanted to touch on a couple highlights. The amount for this year is $232,000. That's an increase of $22,000 from $210 last year. It's $172,000 for the Sunday at 6 p.m. to Friday 6 p.m. and then $60,000 from Friday at 6 p.m. to Sunday at 6 p.m. for the weekends. So it's a total of $232,000. Everybody wants to take a look at it, and we'll vote on it at the next board meeting.
Could you repeat the amount that it was increased by?
$22,000. It was $210,000 last year. It's $232 this year.
Okay.
I have a question. Under B of the agreement, at the very top, it says the village agrees to pay CMS the amount of $1,542,720. Are we actually paying them that much? How is that paid? Yeah. See at the very top of that page?
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, then down
Okay,
below it
if
says
it
they're paying
says-
$232.
Right,
That might
but
be.
it says
that-
a sum of $1,542,720 shall be paid from the billing service revenue only.
Right.
Okay, it's down below that, okay.
Yeah. It says we raised the $232,000.
Okay, just for clarification purposes, I saw that number and I'm like, okay, that's a question.
The revenue that we get from our billing.
Well, everybody can look that over and we'll bring it up to the next meeting.
When does this contract go into effect? It goes, January?
It goes,
First day,
January
first day of January 2025.
it's January, but we don't pay for it until July.
Of the following year?
Yes.
Just ask, just another question on that, that amount, that 1,000,005 amount. So it says, but it says the village agrees to pay that. When it says, but the 1,542 should be paid from billing revenue only. So is that, how does the village pay that?
The 1.5 million,
Yeah,
okay, that shall be paid from the billing revenue only.
so, but how is that?
So that,
Dumb question, but
that's,
I'm just saying, how's that, it says the village is gonna pay it, but do we?
Right, but if you keep reading, Tom, keep reading on that. The village is hereby relieved from the obligation to pay more than the amount of $232,000 from the tax roll and is relieved from any shortfall from the billing revenue.
Yeah, okay.
so, and that 1.5 is billing revenue that's generated not only from the village of Ross's Point, but from the town of Champlain, village of Champlain, and the town of Moores. So it's all combined together.
So they can't bill over 1.5.
Right, I see.
Well, no, it says it-
I see what you mean, but why would it say the village even has to pay the 1.5?
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't it be the parties to the agreement would pay it? I mean,
But it says the village is hereby
Relieved
relieved
of
from
it,
the
yeah.
obligation
it's
to
just
pay
a little,
more than,
yeah, no, I know, it's just a little confusing.
I know.
I get what you're saying, Dale, about being relieved from that any more than 232, but it's, so when it says it's being paid from billing revenue only, is that from billing out to people? People pay it,
correct, insurance carriers.
correct? Village doesn't pay it though.
No.
That's what's just a little confusing about that.
Right,
language, that's
yeah,
all.
it should say insurance or,
Well, it does say it's gonna be paid from billing revenue.
right.
but-
I mean, if you wanna make any amendments, Tom, on this, we can
Yeah.
definitely entertain it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
if
mean.
you wanna look at it.
I mean, if the overall,
Let us know.
yeah, I mean, if the, whether it's town of Moores, village, town of Champlain, village of Champlain, whatever, if that's the total amount, that's the amount of the contract, that's one thing.
But yeah, this does say the village agrees to pay. So it should say probably the entities agree to pay.
Right, if that's the total contract, I mean, we're agreeing to pay the 232.
Right.
Why doesn't it just say we're agreeing to pay the 232? I mean, I understand the whole amount of the contract might be the 1.5, but why doesn't it just say we're paying, and,
But if you look down at E, it says the amount of 232,000
yeah,
shall be
but
paid by the village.
it also says under B, the last sentence, where that the village is relieved from any, from the
Correct.
obligation to pay more than the amount 232.
Right,
It's just a little confusing why it says that, that's all. This is coming.
Technically, that probably should be taken right out of there.
yeah, this came right from Champlain Moores EMS.
Who would I call about that? I see Roger Favreau signed it for Champlain.
Yeah, you could call Roger,
Do you have a number for him, or give me a number for him?
I can.
Okay. Again, not trying to be difficult about it, just it's a little contradictory.
Well, that's a good catch, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, set on that. My next thing is a resolution. Resolution number 2024-20, whereas the Board of Trustees has been increasing water rents in anticipation of deferring part of the cost of construction of the new water plant, and whereas expenditures of this construction project have been accruing. Therefore, it be resolved that the Board of Trustees does hereby authorize the treasurer to transfer $28,288.50 from the water fund to the water plant reconstruction fund, effective May 31st, 2024. And can we get a roll call vote on that?
You do. Trustee Pelkey,
Aye.
Trustee Southwick,
Aye.
Trustee Arno,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Menard,
Aye.
Mayor LaBounty.
So the resolution is passed. My next two resolutions are, one is 2024-21 shared services agreement for code enforcement officer, and resolution 2024-22, the electrical inspectors. I'm gonna defer that to our legal counsel.
Yeah, I think before we take any action on those two resolutions, I would request that somebody make a motion for an executive session due to pending litigation, so we can discuss those in executive session, and then when we come back out, we can take action on those resolutions.
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss legal matters, or pending litigation. Pending litigation.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Roll call vote.
Oh, you want a roll call vote? Yeah.
Trustee Pelkey,
Aye.
trustee Arno,
Aye.
trustee Southwick,
Aye.
deputy mayor.
Aye. We have a motion seconded, and all in favor, resolution passes. We're gonna go into executive session, sorry about that. And that's all I have for this evening. Trustee Arnold.
The only thing I have is the fire department. We're looking to maybe purchase a 2007 KME pumper for $140,000. But they would like to get a semi-approval to take and go down and take a look at it and to make sure that it's what it is and stuff like that. So, it's $140,000. And Mr. LeBlanc, if you'd like to address the board on how he could pay it for it and stuff like that, if they do decide.
So I spoke with Mr. Administrator Latrimore last week and also with Treasurer Letourneau, and we have, I believe, 56,000 in reserves currently, which leaves us about 80-something thousand short, whatever that number is. I spoke with Arsene, and we discussed each year we've been putting $12,000 away into capital reserve funds, and if we get a loan and make the payment equal to that $12,000 a year, then we wouldn't have to increase our budget to pay for the truck. So we would forego the capital reserve for the pumper replacement for the next, whatever, 7-8 years, whatever Arsene figures it out, and we could pay for it.
And we're looking probably to get rid of,
The oldest engine would be the initial truck. We had some discussion about maybe getting rid of the tanker. Mr. Lattimore and I talked about that last week. Doesn't seem to be a lot of resistance to get rid of that, the International. Chris had a plan for it, so.
Is this to replace another pumper that we have, or?
It's to replace the oldest pumper, yes. The one we bought about 8.5 years ago out of Pennsylvania. That's a 1994, so it's 30 years old. It still functions, but if you're looking at used trucks, you just, you keep looking in the market and see what's out there. When something comes up that kind of fits your needs of what you were looking at, you kind of have to decide if you want to go take a look at it and make the move and do the upgrade. A new truck like our frontline truck, salesman was up here about 3 months ago introducing himself, and he said $1 million every day of the week to replace that. A basic engine, $750,000 now, so a used truck is a.
Where's the truck located, the pumper located?
The truck is down in Walden, New York. It's down near Newburgh.
Okay.
How old is that truck? Went down there?
to
2007. It's newer than our newest truck that we have now. Our newest truck's a 2003.
So we replaced the 1994 truck?
Yes.
So at this point in time, you're just looking for approval to go down to check the truck out? Or-
Yeah, I don't want to go down and waste their time if there's no interest from the board. If the board is saying, no, we don't want to do this, then.
Yeah,
So
we
they
got the
have to-
loan and.
I have one question for you, Mike. So you're talking about getting rid of 305
Yep,
and possibly the tanker.
correct.
Is that gonna drop our ISO ratings?
The tanker has no effect on our ISO.
It does not.
No.
Okay.
It's not a rated truck because it doesn't have a big enough pump on it. Even if the pump was working. The not big enough to even be rated for ISO.
Okay. I just didn't wanna go backwards on
No,
that.
I wouldn't,
So,
I wouldn't let that happen, no.
Okay, perfect.
No, that truck doesn't affect our ISO rating.
And the money you get from
Selling
possibly
the truck
selling
is
these,
more
you gotta
money.
put that on there also.
Yes, you could,
It'll be less of a loan that.
Yes.
you got.
or a quick.
And didn't we discuss the rescue truck too? Because this new truck is equipped to be a rescue truck?
That's where we could get in trouble with ISO, so we'd have to,
Okay, all right.
because you do need a service truck. So if you look at the ISO rating, we need 2 pumpers, a service truck, technically a backup service, and a reserve service and a reserve engine is how you get graded. They mix and match the ladder truck and the rescue truck to give us our service and some reserve credit on the service truck. So if you took one of those away, we lose some credit there. And the other thing is, we don't think we can move all the equipment onto the other truck. There's probably not enough room.
Okay. I just know you
In-
and I discussed that.
Yeah, in the future, the department talked about maybe getting a smaller rescue, and getting rid of the big one, and get something smaller that would be able to carry what we have left from equipment that we can't get on the other truck. This new truck is what they call it, it's a rescue style pumper, so it's got a lot more compartment space, it's got compartments on top. Generally, the truck, currently they carry their jaws of life on that truck with their engine, so it's a multi-purpose vehicle. You can go to car accidents that have a lot of your equipment already that you need, go to the fire. Or now we're bringing 2 trucks to do that,
Right.
so limited manpower, got this truck. Go out during the day with 5 guys, you've got almost everything you need in case of a car accident or a fire, so we're looking at what we have for manpower and the situations we run into, and it's not always easy to get 2-3 trucks out, especially during the day.
Right.
Any idea what you could possibly get from the 1994 truck? I mean,
Depending on mileage and what the truck is, I've been looking, they're asking anywhere between $20,000 to $40,000. I don't know what they actually get for them, I know what they're listed for, so I'm
yeah,
sure they
yeah,
don't get
just-
that.
yeah, Just an idea, that's all.
Yes,
And how long they normally stay in the market, like?
depends on the truck. Some go fast, some you see listed and they're gone, some stay on the used truck market for a long time.
Now, are you asking the village to afford the cost for the travel to go down to look at it, or is Montgomery Homes going to absorb that?
We'll take the company pickup truck, so we'll fill the gas. It'll be gas, it's all it'll be. Maybe McDonald's, that's it. So it won't cost much. We'll go and come back in the same day. It's about a 5-hour drive down there.
No, I think it's a good idea to go forward and start doing some combinations on these trucks, like you said, limited manpower, and eventually,
Yeah.
we can start downsizing some of these trucks. We don't need 2-3 trucks to go, and,
Well, not if we're not gonna be able to use them,
you know, it's easier on our insurance, it's easier all the way around.
Easier on maintenance.
so, yeah.
Too many trucks to take care of.
Okay, so do we need a motion to move forward with this, or just everybody agree on it?
You probably should make a motion, I would say, just to approve them,
To
the
travel.
fire department go down, and if you're gonna reimburse travel expense or whatever for them.
Okay. So, I guess I'll make a motion that we allow the fire department to go down and look at the truck, and we'll pay whatever expenses that we have.
Where's the truck again located?
Walden?
Walden?
And all you want is just the gas?
Yeah, we'll fill up down there, and then obviously we fill up at the fuel
Yeah,
pumps when we
here's
get
the-
back, so.
Here's the spec
So-
here.
Oh.
Motion to look, allow you to look
Do we
at
have
the
a
truck
second?
and fuel cost?
Yep.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
that's all I have, Deputy Mayor.
Trustee Pelkey, nothing to
Yes,
see.
I talked to Adam, our public works supervisor. They're doing their last pour on Montgomery Street for this year. And they have to get on some patchwork paving, some potholes that have to be fixed, and they're waiting for the county to come to pave our roads, the ones that are designated to be done this year. So, as you know,
Getting closer.
the calendar is clicking down. The asphalt thing really closes by Thanksgiving, so we have a lot of work to do from now till then,
Yeah.
so. And, another thing, I wanna give Mr. Decker some credit. He's been doing a good job being a public works supervisor,
Keep it, you need it.
Public Works.
or, electric department supervisor. I've been in those shoes, and I see that he's been bringing some good ideas to the table, and, I can honestly say that he's doing a good job, he really is. So, that's all I have.
Trustee Southwood.
The only thing I have is just a reminder to residents that a while ago, there was a lead line survey that was sent out, asking residents to follow some instructions to determine their pipes. That is due in October, which is next month. It'll be here before we know it. So if you haven't already returned that form or reached out to the village to have someone come out and check it for you, now's the time to do that. Let's make sure we have a good response rate for this. That's all I have.
Thank you, Trustee Southwood. Other reports? Nobody? Mr. Decker? No? Nothing? Anybody else wishing to address the board? If not, I will.
Make a motion to go into recess.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. We are in recess.
All set. I make a motion, we go back into regular session.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, so, going back into regular session, we had some discussions, before. We went into executive session about, two separate resolutions. The resolution, 2024-21, the shared service agreement for the code enforcement officer. We had some discussion, regarding some pending litigation. And I am comfortable at this point in basically, having that resolution, adopted by the village of Rouses Point.
So would you like me to read the whole thing?
I think you have to, yes.
Okay. So resolution 2024-21, the village of Rouses Point, authorizing the execution of a shared service agreement with the town of Champlain for the provision of code enforcement officer. Whereas the Uniform Shared Services and Consolidation Act authorizes two or more local units to enter into an agreement for interlocal services as known as Shared Services Agreement for the provision of municipal services agreement. And whereas the governing body of the village of Rouses Point recognizes that shared services may result in property tax relief and enhanced services for its residents. Whereas the village of Rouses Point is in need of a code enforcement officer for its residents, and whereas the town of Champlain is able to provide code enforcement officer, and whereas the village of Rouses Point wishes to begin receiving code enforcement from the town of Champlain, and whereas the governing body of the village of Rouses Point has reviewed the proposal agreement, and a copy of which is attached hereunto. Now therefore be resolved that the governing body of the village of Rouses Point hereby endorses undertaking a shared service agreement with the town of Champlain for the provision of code enforcement officer, and be it further resolved that the mayor is hereby authorized to make all legal and necessary actions to facilitate the village of Rouses Point participation in this agreement. Be it further resolved that a copy of the agreement shall be maintained in the town of Champlain office and be available for public inspection. This resolution shall take effect immediately. The question foregoing were duly put to a roll call vote, which resulted as follows.
Trustee Pelkey.
Aye.
Trustee Arnold.
Aye.
Trustee Southwick.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Menard.
Aye,
Mayor LaBounty.
and the resolution is passed.
The second resolution is resolution 2024-22, regarding a resolution governing electrical inspectors, and as far as what would be required to be recognized as an electrical inspector in the village of Rouses Point. Again, we've had some discussion in executive session regarding some previous pending litigation and the results of same. And in reviewing the resolution, again identified as 2024-22 electrical inspectors, it would be my recommendation to the village board to adopt same this evening.
Okay, for electrical inspectors resolution 2024-22, Village of Rouses Point, New York. Whereas any person or legal entity may apply to the village board for permission to conduct electrical inspections. This application shall be accompanied by a $100 non-refundable fee and shall be in writing on forms prescribed by the village board by resolution and shall include the following: IAE certifications, electrical inspector, 1 and 2 family dwelling plus electrical inspector general, and the required CEUs to maintain both certifications. Maintain annually a $5 million liability insurance and supply certificate with the village of Rouses Point as a certificate holder. Maintain and supply annual certificate of New York State workers' compensation insurance. Maintain and supply annually certificate of New York State disability insurance. All cancellation notices of insurance shall be sent to the village of Rouses Point upon issuance. Supply current rate schedule for inspections. The application shall be submitted to the building inspector, who shall review the same and who shall make an investigation as to the qualifications of the applicant. Within 30 days after the submission of the completed application, the building inspector shall deliver copies of the complete application to the village board with a recommendation for approval or disapproval. Within 30 days after receipt of the application and recommendation, the village board shall approve or disapprove the application. Failure of the village board to act within said period shall be deemed as an approval of the application. Upon approval, the building inspector shall issue a letter of certification addressed to the applicant that the village board has found the applicant to be qualified electrical inspector. Such certification shall remain in full force and effect unless rescinded for a cause pursuant to the hearing held on not less than 10 days written notice to the inspector. Notice may be delivered personally or by regular or certified mail. Upon delivery of such notice or upon the mailing of same, certification shall be suspended pending a determination. In the event that an applicant is not approved, the village board may grant the applicant an opportunity to be heard on the merits of the application at a regular special meeting of the village board, to be held within 60 days after the notice of disapproval is made to the applicant. It shall be the duty of the building inspector to maintain a current list of all qualified electrical inspectors for the village of Rouses Point, including their addresses, telephone numbers, dates of approval by the village board, and the dates of issuance of the certification. The building inspector will be responsible for providing a current list of all certified inspectors to the village clerk on an annual basis or upon certification or decertification of an inspector. Failure to complete and submit the required information or the giving of false information in the initial application and/or the renewal of an electrical inspection license shall result in termination of the inspection agency's approval to conduct business in the village of Rouses Point. This resolution shall take effect immediately. The questions of the foregoing were duly put to a roll call vote, and results were follows.
Trustee Pelkey.
Aye.
Trustee Arno.
Aye.
Trustee Southwick.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Menard.
Aye,
Mayor LaBounty.
and the resolution is passed. And I believe that's all we have for this evening.
Nope, I got one more
Oh,
thing.
One more thing, sorry.
Yeah. The Rouses Point Fire Department is having a fundraiser dinner. It's pulled pork, baked beans, coleslaw, and a roll. It's November 10th 2024, and it's $15 a plate. It's from 12 to 3, or you can pick up takeout. And a lot of people around the village have tickets, if anybody would like to purchase any. A couple businesses in the village has them, and hope everybody comes out to a fundraiser for the fire department. Thank you very much.
Thank you, trustee Arnold. Is there anything else anybody would like to say?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Do I have a second? I'll second. Motion made and seconded. All those in favor, vote by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.